Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Make sure you follow us on Discord and stop by www.tsj101sports.com, as the Pro Wrestling Podcast is the official wrestling podcast of TSJ Sports, but it's not just wrestling. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the sports there is to want and love is all found on tsj101sports.com. Guys, are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create a wrestler, sign contracts, get involved in storylines, headline pay-per-views, even build your own corporation, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable. It's available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family and you want your name in the shout-outs like Mike and Lansdale, thank you, Mike, for always being our number one Patreon. Check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today for our loyalty rewards. Any $15 a month contributor gets to co-host a live episode, and $7.50 a month contributors get entered into a drawing to also host an episode of one of our live shows. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. We'll take questions, comments, anything you want to talk about through whatever chat feature you have for the show, or if you want to send it in for a future episode, check out the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line at 267-642-1160. Give us your questions, comments, anything you want us to talk about, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. Don't forget to check out the homepage of the Pro Wrestling Podcast at prowrestling.com, and we will be there and respond to all the different messages. You can see all of our content. Everything we have will be located at prowrestling.com. So tonight, we're going to get right into it, talking Roman Reigns. He was voted Tumblr's top pro wrestler of 2020. I don't know how Drew McIntyre didn't win this. Roman takes half a year off and pretty much picks up where he left off, but didn't do anything substantial and has kind of been standing behind Jey Uso since his return, but somehow he wins Wrestler of the Year. I don't know how Drew McIntyre coming out, winning the Rumble, winning Mania, taking out Brock Lesnar, defending his championship all summer, Randy Orton feuds, all that stuff, and now in a great program with AJ Styles. How he is not Wrestler of the Year, I don't understand, but whatever, Tumblr does what they do. But that is not why we're talking Roman Reigns tonight. The big news coming out right now is the conversation about who should face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And there have been 4 names thrown up because it looks like The Rock is not going to happen because of his movie schedule. Names are Drew McIntyre, which they just did, so I feel like that shouldn't be what they do yet. Number 2 is Daniel Bryan, who was on tap to face him at TLC. That got pushed back. Rumor was till the Rumble. Now they're saying maybe Mania. Another one I'm hugely in favor of, is Big E. Now, I have no problem with Big E becoming a top star and being a world champion, but that apparently is not the number one choice. Right now, leading the charge is the WWE writing team thinking that they should do Roman Reigns versus Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania. Now, I'm sorry, I loved Bill Goldberg back in the 2000s, late 90s. I even enjoyed the whole Brock Lesnar stuff when he came back, but it's too much to put him in the main match at Mania. You can't do that. Certainly not after everything Roman has done. It is perfectly set up for the match with The Rock. Make it happen. Spend the money. Do whatever you have to do. If The Rock is not going to happen, elevate somebody new. Big E, put him in there, give him the spot, let him run with it. I am so tired of these part-timers coming in and taking prime spots on the biggest shows of the year. We need to stop that. Let's move forward with the future of the company, which easily could be Big E. Another news for the week, Sting reportedly is going to wrestle for All Elite Wrestling, and that being said, the big question is who will he wrestle, and the deal is at some point, the 61-year-old Stinger is supposed to get in the ring with somebody in AEW. Now, look, I'm not going to say whether I think it's the best idea, the worst idea. All I'm going to say is the plan is for him to wrestle at some point. I'm sure they'll go out of their way to protect him as best they can. However, Who do you want to see him wrestle? Well, the word is Chris Jericho put out a tweet speculating on a Stinger versus Painmaker match. Now, I don't know about you guys. That doesn't really do much for me, but it is a match I don't think we've ever seen. So I'd be open to a new match concept, a new match idea. But at the same time, I'd love to see the Sting versus, MJF would be wonderful. Sting versus Darby Allin makes a lot of sense, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But the word is that is the plan, is for him to wrestle in AEW. Now, some other news for the week. I love how Triple H came out last week after the whole AEW Impact thing and said that WWE is open for business. And Tama Tonga from New Japan, one of the Gorillas of Destiny, came out and said, your boys don't want none on Twitter. And I agree with him. WWE can run their mouth all they want about being open for business, but Triple H made it clear what that really means. He said for a 10 or 15-year benefit. That's not going to happen with any company, not even these other ones. It's not supposed to be about 10, 15 years. It's supposed to be about you use something short-term so that people get interested in your product again. You're turning less than 2 million people a week on SmackDown, just around 2 million on Raw. That used to be 7, 8, 9 million at the height of wrestling. You need to get back focusing on that, and the way to do that is the spontaneity and the unpredictability of the wrestling industry that's not happening in WWE right now. Now, the other thing talking about this week with Triple H is what the role The Undertaker could play in WWE now that he's no longer going to be an active competitor. And the conversation is they've talked about him being a full-time trainer at the Performance Center. I don't think that surprises anybody, but it would be interesting to see how he gets incorporated. I think he'd offer a lot to the big guys in the ring and really be able to mentor them and make them understand storytelling and how to really bring a match together, get crowd response and reaction. I think he could only help the big guys overall. Also talking about NXT and training and all that stuff, training at NXT repeatedly since September has been Eva Marie, who apparently is listed as on the roster on internal documents, indicating that she is definitely back to WWE. We don't know if she's going to be wrestling or just an on-screen character, but clearly she is a part of the company and will be coming in at some point in time. The controversy this week in WWE, Jackson Riker, the guy who used to be Gunner in Impact Wrestling, controversial tweets earlier in the year about the Black Lives Movement and support for Donald Trump, been off TV since, returned to WWE Main Event, side by side with Elias, and other than the fact that they both have big old bushy beards, I don't know why WWE is even going there. I don't know that he's a bad wrestler, but he also has never really lit the world on fire. I don't know that he's worth the investment. Putting him into a storyline on the Main Event with R-Truth is kind of silly. But if that's what you got to do to get some money out of your investment, I mean, so be it. But I just think in the current political climate, bad idea. Going to end tonight on something I find fascinating. The Royal Rumble betting odds have come out, and the early odds see Big E and Edge as the two favorites to win, followed closely by Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar, and then eventually by Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns is the champion, so I don't see how that factors in the equation. But the more interesting ones to me are on the women's side of things, where Rhea-Ripley is the favorite at plus 700 to win the Women's Rumble, followed by Ronda-Rousey at plus 750 and Shayna Baszler at plus 800. Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, both at plus 1,000. Bayley is at plus 1,200. And Bianca Belair, who would be my pick, is at plus 1,400, along with Nia Jax. Paige is actually on the list at plus 1,600. I feel like those odds are actually pretty interesting considering her current status with WWE. Charlotte Flair plus 1,600. Io Shirai plus 2,000, the same as Asuka, Lacey Evans, and people like that. So there's a lot of names on the list, but I find it interesting that Rhea-Ripley and Ronda-Rousey on the women's side, and then over on the guys' side, Big E and Edge, the current favorites to win this year's Royal Rumble. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode where we'll run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, go out to bensound.com and purpleplanet.com, where they produce all the music and sound effects we use in our shows. Today's podcast sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bringing a new friend to family game night is easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this new game from Beazle Games by going to frowrestling.com and clicking the icon in the middle of the screen to pick up your copy today. And to alleyrepair.com. Contact Alley Repair today for servicing of all your classic skee ball, pinball, and arcade game needs. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college, university life, or you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our sister website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Mr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us today. And like I said before, if you're looking for more sporting news, go to www.tsj101sports.com. Till next time, take care, everybody, and have a great night.